Hey, welcome back to my channel. Lovely thing about this tripod is it has a lever bar that you can just like going up and down. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, it's less hot, so a bit more production's gone into today. Today I'm going to talk about episode 3 of season 5 of Orphan Black, which I must admit was less of an emotional one, which is very good because last week flooded it, just saying. As you can see, or you might not be able to see, I have my Paramore shirt on. I bought two. This is one of the ones I bought. I bought the tour t-shirt with all the nice dates on it, which the proceeds go to the Grenfell Tower Fund. And then I got the Hard Times one, which is so cool because it's written Hard Times. And it's like a baseball type shirt-ish, if a baseball shirt was for Paramore. Eyeliner. Remember the time when I was doing Snow White? I was like, I can't do eyeliner. Mastered it. So, let's get on with it, because I don't have that much to say this week. Except for, I paid for NYT, which is a lot of money. It's a lot of money that, like, I've never had before. I've never had that much money saved in, well, I did when I got my computer, but that was the last time I saved for anything because I'm not very good at saving. Like I said, the last time I saved for something was my computer, and then it was to go to Manchester to see 5 Seconds of Summer, but we won't recount that because that was a bit of a shambles for many different reasons. But no, so it was sort of like, I saved that much money. So, episode 3, Beneath Her Heart. And I must say, I think this is the episode we all needed after last week to be like, okay, that happened last week, we're gonna chill down now. Last week's was, now we're gonna chill. We're gonna go to Alison, who, you know, I think is great. I love Alison. I love Alison. She always makes me think, wow, her life is crazy. It makes me feel like my life isn't crazy. I mean, I know it's a TV show, but seriously, she makes me feel more normal. It's like when I watch 24 Hours, the Untold Stories of the ER makes me feel completely normal. Because there's all sorts of drama on there, and I just feel so normal watching that. I'm like, yeah, at least I haven't got it like that. At least I haven't got a shoe stuck in my face. Yeah. I urge you all watch it. It's a very good show. So, as I said, this episode is all about Alison, and I'm so pleased because I think Alison is a great character. Some people don't like her. Some people said this episode was boring. Some people said, I don't see the point in Alison, you know, she's a bit like menial, you know, like, this episode's boring. It's not action. But I read, and I don't know where I read it, because I read a lot of things about Orphan Black. I'm like, I should save all these links, but I never think in time to do that. That where each of the main clones is gonna have a character-centric episode, which I think is great because we've followed these women for about 5 seasons now, and we know a lot about them, but we sort of don't. We don't know how they got into it. Like, we didn't know how Alison got into it, which I must say the scene between her and Consumer was great. I loved it. I thought it was utterly bonkers, but right for Alison as well. I just thought, but let's get on with it. So we start off with a flashback with Alison and Ainsley, and I'm like, Ainsley, oh, poor Ainsley. Alison thought she was a monitor, and she wore a scarf in the kitchen, or was strangled by said scarf by her trash compactor in the sink. But yeah, that was my favourite scene for my parents to watch. I was like, yes, this sums up the brilliance of Orphan Black. They kill a woman off by strangling her with a scarf from a sink. I was like, great. And like I said, it's nice to see Alison before this is in the time scale of things. It's she knows about Beth. She's talked to Beth However, she has not met any of the other clones yet, which I think is interesting to see how sort of Allison, although she knew about Beth and sort of knew how she was before she got really drawn into it. And then we see Chad and Ainsley, and they were like, let's do magic mushrooms. I'm like, this is gonna end well. Can't say I've ever done them, but from what I've seen, they don't end well. I've only watched them in TV shows because I'm not rebellious. And I love how Donnie's going to be the watcher, because it kind of makes sense, because at the time he's still Allison's monitor, so I guess he does have to sort of watch her and make sure she doesn't do anything stupid, which Paul should have been doing when he was a monitor to Beth. Should have made sure she didn't throw herself in on the train tracks. Great job there, Paul. And I love the line where he's like, I've got poison control on speed dial, and that they prefer to stick to alcohol poisoning. I'm like, that is so bizarre, because flash a few seasons forward, Allison goes to rehab for alcoholism, and then we get this episode where all kind of madness happens with alcohol and drugs kid. And then we see Allison get a text from Beth being like, I want you to meet someone, and it's like, that's gonna be Cosima, because I mean, who else does she know? Like, before she knows Sarah, there's only Beth and Allison and Cosima. I mean, MK as well. Well, rest in peace, MK. But you know, they don't know about MK till season 4. So then we go back to the present day, and that Mr. Frontenac's like, oh, I wish you'd tell me where Helena is. And I'm like, no, like they can do that. Donnie is a man of his word. He is not gonna tell them where she is until he tells Sarah. Well, he's only gonna tell Sarah. And then Allison keeps going on about the fact that he abandoned her. And Donnie's like, I did not abandon you. And I love when Donnie tries and says Dr. Frontenac's name, because that's me with his name. I'm like, how you say it? I mean, like, Orphan Black. I love Orphan Black, but they don't half give people really weird names that I'm like, how do I say that? Or, you know the problem with, like, in movies sometimes? Not they mumble it, but they say it in a way that you just are like, what did you say? I think I heard that, but I might have been wrong. Like, maybe that's just me. That's probably just me. And then they're comparing poor Allison. I'm like, Allison is useful. I mean, who do you know is a craft maker? Her husband shot someone in the face accidentally. They both buried them in their garage. And then they buried another one in there. I mean, how do you know? And all the while she's had alcoholism, drug problems, rehab, children, clone problems, kidnapped. I mean, who else do you know can juggle all that? And I mean, she used Pouchy's money to buy Cosima's lab under the comic store. Let's not forget that. Grateful. And he's saying she has no use, saying that, you know, Cosima's a real scientist, Beth was a cop, and that they then drag poor Mika, MK into it by saying, oh, even MK had her uses. And I'm like, rude, give some respect. She died last week. Respect. And then say, and being like, Sarah and Helena are fertile, you know, that, you know, she's sort of just the clone on the side. I'm like, rude. You bring MK into it. You're insulting poor Allison. I mean, Allison is great. She might not be great in the sense that you think she is. Like, she's not a cop, or she's not a scientist, but she has her uses. I mean, who else gave everyone a gun? I mean, seriously. Sarah learnt to shoot from Allison. Allison provided the money, you know, which, if you're not got the money, you can't do much without. Yes, you can't do much without. And then we flash back to where they've taken the magic mushrooms. I'm like, I can imagine Allison on magic mushrooms. Allison's one of those people that you can just imagine doing things like, oh yeah, I can see that. And what is so bizarre is she's on magic mushrooms the moment she meets Cosima. I'm like I said, this is totally the way you can imagine Allison met one of her clone sisters, but at the same time it's so like, you could totally imagine it, and you could totally think that that's how it happened. Like, it's everything I expected and not at the same time. It's bizarre. And so we have the scene where Cosima and Alison meet, and Alison is literally tripping on everything that Cosima's saying, and it's so funny just being like, seeing Cosima sort of like say these words like really loudly and stuff, and then be like, go back to being quiet, and Alison's like, you have a nose ring. It's a bit like, brilliant observation there, Alison. Well, because that's what Cosima says. She's like, brilliant observation. I'm like, yes. And so then it sort of makes you assume. So first it was Beth, then it was MK, then it was Cosima, and then Alison, I'm assuming. That's how they all got brought into it. And does that mean with the Cosima episode that we're gonna get now, we know it's coming, we will see how she met Beth? I'd be quite down for that. I'm quite interested in that. Because we know how she met Sarah. We know how she met Beth as Alison now. I would love to know how she met Beth. Because I don't know whether we'll get insight into how Alison met Beth. But I think it'd be great if we could see right at the beginning, where I like to call it the moment that sort of fate steps in and sort of you're on a journey that's sort of, not a journey, that sounds too contrived, but like you're on a, like your things are set in stone and sort of you can't really change that. Like from the moment Beth and Cosima and Alison sort of started this, they were on a sort of that not much could be done, if that makes sense. I don't know whether that makes sense. It makes sense in my head, and I'm much better explaining it to myself in my head, because I'm much better explaining stuff to myself than I am to other people. Like I sometimes wish I had a twin, but then I don't wish I had a twin. I wish I had someone exactly like me, so then we could be like, yes, great idea. So technically I won't be talking to myself, I'll be talking to myself, but like a real myself. Yeah. And then we flash back to the present, and they're having a memorial for MK, and I'm like, the moment that really did it was when they put the sheet mask. I'm like, stop using the sheet mask, that really hurts me inside. Oh. And Alison's like, I could have done something, I could have been like a switcheroo as well. And I sort of think, no Alison, that probably would have put you in more danger, because then, you know, you could have been where Sarah was, sort of both been killed. And it's all a bit like, lay low, and it's like, okay, these people do great lying low. And Mrs. S is going to take care of Rachel. How's your Rachel? And Felix is now going to babysit Sarah, which is great because I love them two together. And then Mrs. S is talking about they're not without allies, and I'm like, what does that mean? I mean, we know like the main allies, but like secretive? I might be in a totally different position to what I was just when family came home, so you know, they're very noisy when they come home, so it's not like you can be like, oh, recording this while they're unpacking. So yeah, as I said, Alison probably couldn't have done nothing because Ferdinand was quite, well, for my notes I put Ferdinand is just, oh look, yeah, Ferdinand is just angry, not enough words. So Felix is babysitting Sarah, and then Mrs. S is saying they're not without allies, and I'm like, what does that mean? Are we talking about the allies that we know, or the allies that you have that we don't know about? So then we go back to Alison and Donnie, and they're talking about doing the full fair, and I'm like, oh, Alison. And Donnie is doing a dance, a Highland dance, and they're singing a duet. And I love the story behind this. I read that the reason they decided to put the Highland dancing in and the duet is because they, the lady who plays Mrs. S, Maria Doyle Kennedy, who, can we just say, was in Downton Abbey. I remember from Downton Abbey. I love Downton Abbey. Because she moved to Canada to film, I think this season, because I think she used to commute back to Ireland a lot, but she moved to Canada to film this series. Used to throw a lot of parties for the cast and the crew when filming Orphan Black, and just so happened, and she knows a lot of musician friends, and so she invited them. It just so happened that Graham Manson and John Fawcett, who write the show, were there, and Christian Brune busted out his dance moves and his singing and lute playing skills, and they thought, yeah, we gotta have that in an episode. Like, yeah, how did you not think of that? I think it's so cool, just like all these hidden talent of these people, they're so good. And then we're still in Alison's craft room and we see she's looking at a bottle of pills hidden in her cupboard, and it's a bit like resist temptation, you're on a good path, resist. And Alison's sort of like, her life's ruined, you know, why do I love my sisters if they just ruined my life? And Donnie's sort of like giving her a pep talk, being like, your life's not ruined, it's just coming back, it's just waiting for you to come back and sparkle it up. Very good pep talk, you know, very Alison pep talk. And then she goes to the full fair and we meet this Nona Walker, and she's very shady, rude. And all I can think is, where is Sarah Stubbs? Where is Alison's number one fan? Where is Alison's go-to person? Where is Sarah Stubbs?
We're damaged. Really damaged, but that does not make us wise.
Where's Molly Sapp?
We're not special. We're not different. We don't choose who lives or dies. Let's be normal.
No.
See that move?
To move again because the battery died, so I had to charge it. So again, if it's in a different position, I don't think, to be honest, I wouldn't know. So, you know, blame it on that. So let's go back to my notes because it's been about 2 hours. So yeah, Nona and Alison have a little chat and she's like, I'm not gonna let you overpower me, I'm not gonna bow down to you. And again, where is Sarah Stubbs? Sarah Stubbs would not stand for this. Sarah Stubbs would not stand for this. And then Alison walks off and she goes to the church because it's a community centre with a church in the middle. It's a bit like that. And then she gets the iced tea out, which is a bit like, oh, MK, you still have iced tea? She has a drink, she takes a pill, and then she puts all the pills in the iced tea, swirls it around, then she goes to give it to Nona, and then I think she feels a bit guilty because, like, the pastor's there, the vicar's there being like, you know, don't do whatever you're about to do, because it's not good. And then go to Rachel and she's sort of talking to that Dr. Frontenac, being like, you know, this book, because, you know, the book that apparently P.T. Westmoreland wrote it, but Leakey just dumbed it down a bit. It's quite funny that she's sort of believing everything that P.T. Westmoreland tells her. Sort of like, it'd be quite interesting to see what else he tells her, and what else he's been saying. And then they're talking about Helena and her baby, showing the scan picture, being like, look, this baby healed. And they're talking about how they can get access to them, they would be even more special and valuable than Kira is, which is quite interesting that, you know, they spent this whole time after Kira, and almost like Kira could get dumped by the wayside. That would be interesting to see how Kira would react to sort of being tossed aside. And, you know, do not touch Helena's babies because you all know what happened to Pouchy and the Pouchy. And how did I know they'd end up finding about the babies? And Dr. Frontenac saying, you know, with a bit of leverage they might get Donnie to say where she is. And it's a bit like, Donnie will never say, did not see this, the promise he made to Helena. You know, that was like a for real one. You don't go breaking that, because I think Helena would come and break your face and jab a needle through your cheek. And so they send the detectives, you know, Mai, Art, the other coppers, being like, you know, we've got a search warrant to search a house because we think you've murdered people. Don't let them in the garage, and dig up the garage and sort of see dead bodies. I mean, the worst part is to see them, really. It's not. Again, it's a bit like, Art, do something, come on up, we were rooting for you. What happened to being the great copper? Now you're just as dodgy as the rest of them. I'm hoping you pull through, Art. What's funny is, as Donnie opens the door, he's in like full kilt of, I think that's great. I'm just like, oh, they always get to do it, like, they always come at the wrong moment when he's like in a kilt or just finished digging up the ground. And then we go back to the full fair where Alison is, and she's at the memorial stand for all the people they've lost, including Ainsley. And then Chad comes, and it's a bit like, whoa dude, you look a bit rough. And they haven't seen each other since the funeral. I mean, I think that says about how busy Alison's been, for all the people saying he doesn't do anything. That are busy like the funeral. And then Alison's sort of reliving memories of her and Ainsley. I think because she sort of feels guilty. I think she hasn't sort of forgiven herself, even though she sort of did leave her to die. She hasn't sort of forgiving herself for that, sort of leaving her to die, if that makes sense. I think seeing Chad makes her feel guilty about it. And then we flash back to the past, and Alison sort of, after having met Cosima, is sort of doubting herself, a bit like what that Dr. Frontenac was doing, like being like, Cosima's a scientist, Beth's a cop. She's sort of like, Cosima's a scientist, she could have been a scientist, she could have been a cop, and yet she got stuck in this life, almost like a sort of, she could have been anything, and she's sort of this, and she nearly cracked the fact that Danny was her monitor. She says to him sometimes, you look at me so strangely, our whole life is a lie. I'm like, Alison, you nearly had it so long ago, you nearly had it. Then Ainsley wouldn't have died because you would have known who your mother is. Maybe Donnie might have died. But like, seriously, you had it all that time ago. And it's almost like Alison was having a midlife clone crisis. I mean, she's sort of having one now and she's sort of having one back then. And it's nice seeing these flashbacks, because see, Ainsley wasn't all bad. She wasn't. I feel like in the start of the season, when we all were sort of like, oh, she's the mother, she sort of not came across bad, because I think not bad boy, but like she just seemed a bit like sketchy. But it's nice to see sort of they did have a friendship. She was nice, like that they used to be really good friends. No, she isn't that bad actually. So Donnie has to go to the full fair, and he's like, Art, keep them out the garage, and it's a bit like, yes Art, we're rooting for you on this one. Keep them out the garage. And then we go to Dyad, and Kira's having one of those meetings with Auntie Rachel, and I feel like this is like not subliminal messaging, but sort of like kind of like a hint kind of thing, that Rachel gives Kira this kind of mouse. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a mouse that had this special ability to regrow things, like shed its own skin, I don't know, chop a limb off and it'll grow back, a bit like a worm if you cut it in the right place. Not that I've ever done that, but I've heard if you chop it. And I feel like that's like, for a scene that comes later in the episode, almost sort of makes you think, is that what she's gonna do? I mean, Kira's sort of like, everyone tells me I shouldn't trust you, and Rachel's like, do you trust me? And I'm like, Kira, say no, because you shouldn't trust this woman. I mean, Rachel's a great villain, but doesn't mean we should trust her. And then we go back to Felix and Sarah, and I love their partnership. I love their partnership like I love Helena and Donnie's partnership. I don't know whose I love more. I don't, they're so good. And I just love them together. We get more of Felix painting, so good. And I just love their partnership. I don't know why. I love it so much. I love it so much. I just can't stop talking about it. And then we go back to the full fair, and Ramon! Like one person I remember, Ramon. Oh. And Alison goes after him and is like, you swindled us. You swindled us out of all this money. And he's like, no I didn't, no I didn't. And then they end up in the car. A bit like how she ended up in the car with Dad. Only they drink and smoke pot because they're like reminiscing. And it's all a bit like, we don't have time for you to go off the deep end again, Alison. We can't have you go to rehab again. There's not enough time. Seriously. And then we flash back to the scene of Alison and Ainsley looking at the stars, and I really like this scene. I thought, because in a sense, all the clones have lost something that they have, whether it be part of their life, a person, a feeling of normality. They've all lost something through these 5 seasons, and so they've changed as a person, and it's quite nice to, not quite nice to see what Alison lost, but it makes you understand what she's lost and sort of maybe a bit why she's the way she is. Like, she's talking about, like, saying she doesn't know, she doesn't feel like this is it for her. She feels like almost like she's settled and she's not completely happy with it. It also shows how good their friendship is again. And I love what Ainsley says by saying, if you feel there's some other purpose out there for you, you should trust that, by like saying, you know, she started out by saying, you know, you have a great life, you have kids, you have a husband, your life is quite alright. If you feel there's something else out there for you, there's a bigger purpose for you, then go follow it, because wouldn't you rather do that, follow it, and it might not turn out to be anything, but then at least you can say you've tried and not spend your whole life wondering if there was something more for you. You would have just trusted yourself, trusted your instinct. And then we flash back to the full fair. Well, we go back because it's not a flashback, it's like real time. And Alison is let loose on the bounce house, and I'm like, when she's like, don't do the waving hand on him. I'm like, oh, ow, I can't, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And this season's over and I don't get to watch Alison on screen anymore. It's like realising that these people are not, like, don't exist, if that makes sense. Because, like, and they're all one person. They're all one of the things that astounds me, that, like, you watch it and you're just like, you don't connect it with Tatiana Maslany. You think they're all real people on their own merit and base. And I don't think unless you watch it, you understand that. I feel like you can watch a trailer and be like, oh, you'd never think that. But, like, you watch it and you sort of think, yeah, there's no way this is one person. And it's like, yeah, it is. And Donnie sort of sees Ramona and is like, oh, you swindled us. And Alison's like, no, it wasn't him. It was Kellerman with the faraway eyes. I'm like, okay, we'll remember when you had a crush on him. And then she's casually forgetting about all the bodies buried in her garage. When Donnie's like, you know, they're at our house investigating everything. They might dig up the bodies in the garage. And then we see Maddie go into the garage and it's a bit like, what did we tell you? You had one job. And Art goes in and sees her planting evidence, because obviously they've got nothing on them at that point. So they decide to plant evidence. And then Maddie spots sort of uneven cement, like different sort of foundations. And she decides to dig that up and she's like, looks like a gravesite. No. And I just gotta say, the Hendrix's neighbours must love them. They're always got a jackhammer at them in the middle of the night. They must love them. And as Donnie labels it, the garage and its occupants. I love that. And then we see Donnie sat in the church because he's all stressed out and frazzled because Alison's gone off the deep end. And so he rings Felix and is like, she's gone off the deep end, I need your help. So Felix comes to the church and Sarah goes to help out, and Donnie drinks the iced tea, the drugged iced tea. Yeah, imagine that one going well. And then we get to Kira and she's getting ready for bed. She's a bit like, where's my mum? And it's a bit like, well, she's still painting with Felix, but not, she's gone to help out. That's a whole nother story. And then we see her getting ready for bed and Mrs. S is like, have you done your homework? And she's like, yeah. And then Mrs. S leaves her alone and then she goes to her desk and gets out like a penknife type thing, one of those army military sort of survival knives, and she sort of opens it and it's a bit like, oh Kira, you're not going to try and lob off a finger and see whether it regrows, are we? Because that might be a bit weird. Or you're not going to cut yourself and see whether you magically heal, because that just might be a bit weird. I mean, it's all. And then we could be like, it's all Rachel's fault, she told you. And then be like, yeah, you're not going there anymore. And then we go back to Alison, and her and Chad are having a nice heart-to-heart on a hay bale. And I think it sort of helps her to move on. Because I think she'll always feel guilt about Ainsley, what she could have couldn't done. But knowing that, like, she didn't outright say it, but, like, you know, she sort of said it in a weird way, in a sense. And I think almost knowing it was an accident and sort of, does that make sense? It's hard to justify that one. Because it's a bit like, oh Alison, there's a misjudging. And I think in these past 5 seasons, they've all done a lot of bad things. They've all done a lot of misjudged things. I think it's learning to let go of that and just live, because I think the guilt would swallow you up if you're not careful. It should be a counsellor. I don't know what's happened to my voice. Oh no. And it sort of mirrors what Chad says, where he's like, we can't change what happened, but if we want to honour Ainsley, we have to move forward. And it's not true. You know, you do have to move forward in one way or the other. And then time for Donnie's performance of his dance, and I'm so excited. It's just so great. So then he starts dancing, and then the iced tea starts to kick in, and he falls. So then he gets back up again, and I like to call it he's doing an Alison where she fell off the stage. Yeah. And then he falls again, and Alison and Felix run up on the stage, because Felix is at the back of the audience, and he's like, the weirdest people get one. And he's doing another Alison. And then you hear Nona being like, oh, they're all alkies. And Alison sticks it to him. I'm like, yes, Alison, show him who's boss. Stick it to the man. Stick it to the woman. And she sees Ainsley in the audience, which is a bit like, oh. And she's like, I think that's the one where she's like, stop this. And she starts talking about she is part of a sisterhood that you could couldn't even begin to understand. And then Felix draws the curtain and he's like, thank God you never will. And then they're behind the curtain and then they sort of pull Donnie and his head is bobbing up and down. I'm gonna have to try and find a clip of that because it's just so funny. It gets me every time. I'm always laughing because I'm just like, that's so great. And then we go to Sarah and Art, and he comes out the garage and he's having a little chat with Sarah, being like, who is it buried in there? Like, who am I digging up? And he's sort of like, he's got a lot on the line. He's laid a lot on the line these past 5 seasons, and he knows a lot about what this 5th season is, showing how invested these people are and how sort of they've left, like, they've put so much into this, like they've put so much of their life and their ambitions and livelihood and everything on the line for this. And then we go back to Donnie and Alison and Felix, who is on the phone to Sarah saying, you know, I'll just tell them where Helena is, because they're talking about what happens when they dig up Lucky's body, and Rachel will go after them. And then Alison says, no, let's just tell her. And so Alison goes to Rachel, and that was the best scene, when she dropped the bag and Rachel opens it to reveal Leaky's head, and it's the greatest thing. I loved it so much. And again, she's sticking it to the woman, being like, you know, you all think I'm this side bit that can sort of be dropped and sort of picked up, and sort of, she's not as valuable as the others, but she did this. Says, we killed Aldous Leaky because Donnie didn't have proper firearm safety. Like, Dr. Leaky pushed Donnie over the edge and he didn't have basic firearm safety. And that's saying she has been there from the start. She was there before Sarah, and so she is not the clone you can sideline. That's why, like, there are no clones you can sideline. And Rachel's like, Aldous Leaky is buried in your garage. It's like, Alison says, mine is dead, which was donated to science. I'm like, Alison, I love Alison so much. I love Alison so much. And they're sort of saying, you know, you can, Alison says to her, you can file murder charges on us, but it will all come back to your office. And in that sense, she sort of checkmated Rachel, because Rachel can't do anything really. But Alison's like, get the police out of my house. So just as Maddie digs up the body and is like, who is that? And she's on the phone to Rachel, and Rachel's like, you know, get out, get rid of the body and put the garage back into working order, and then leave. Yes, Alison, because she's saying Petey was more than want all that attention, all that bad attention on the illusion, if it came out that someone murdered Aldous Leaky, like, and it will all come back to her office. And she is a force to be reckoned with, Alison. Let's be real. And as May's on the phone to Rachel, I don't know why I did that, Art gets his gun and looks like he's about to shoot her, and I'm like, yes, Art, yes, Art, we will root for you. This is exactly what we wanted you to do. And then he puts it away, and I'm like, you had one opportunity, Art. I'm hoping there'll be another one, because I sort of think he might get another chance. Obviously, I'm hoping he'll get another chance before something happens to him like it happened to MK. And then we go back to Alison and Donnie at their house, and Alison's talking about how she's finally sort of found herself, if that makes sense, and that she's gonna go away for a while. And I hope she's not gonna go to the island, because I just sort of think, don't do that. No, this is one of those tiny thoughts that you think, no, Alison, don't do that. But first they have a sing song, and I'd like to know what is gonna happen to Donnie without Alison. And they start singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough, which is so cute, and Donnie's playing the mandolin lute. But don't panic, Alison will be back apparently. She's going to take a bit of time off. I think it's also because practically they can't have every clone in every episode, because they haven't got the budget. It's quite technically demanding. There's not enough time to sort of cover everyone, so clones will drop in and drop out, if that makes sense. And I just want to say, I love the fact that Alison and Donnie singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough carries on through the credits. I love it. It's so good. But before, oh, and I love the "See it, Donnie" bit. That was so good. But before we go to credits, we get a scene with Helena, and I'm so happy. I'm like, Helena, you're alive, you're safe. and she's with the nuns. And I mean, I know I said the fish people or Thomas's boat. I did have a sneaky suspicion it could be the nuns as well. I did sort of think that. I thought she'll go back to where she came from, in a sense, because in a sense she spent her whole life in the convent in Ukraine and nobody knew about her. Nobody knew about her or Sarah. They spent their whole lives, even MK was known about, in a sense, but they spent their whole lives not being known about. I mean, I don't want it to sort of counteract and sort of be like, now they know about her, they're gonna find her. In a sense, where could be safe for them? Where she spent her whole life. I mean, touch wood, touch wood. I'm touching my bed because it's made of wood. And I just want to know, what was she writing? Although I looked on Twitter and someone said, oh, is that Ukrainian? And someone translated it, and I'm gonna have to find a picture. I'll put it in here of what it says in Ukrainian. And yes, that is the end of episode 3. I know, we're getting through them so quickly. Oh. What am I gonna do with my life once it's over? Well, being NYT, and I won't have time to miss it. But I just don't know what I'm gonna do with life when I've finished this. It's like, oh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to find something else. I mean, I've watched Pretty Little Liars. That's a bit slow for me. And I found I don't really like TV series with 22 episodes a season. That's why I like Orphan Black. It's 10 episodes. It gets everything you need to know and doesn't drag anything out. I mean, it drags things out, but only like, it's only 10 episodes a season, and there's only 5 seasons. I must admit, BBC do a lot of good dramas. I loved Argo. I watched that Murdered for Being Different. That was very good. That was very good. Very dark, but very good. And then the Two Girls. I think it was called Two Girls. It was about the child sex ring in Rochdale, in up north, and that was good. Yeah, BBC do a lot of good dramas. I do watch Gossip Girl again. It's a bit long and I get a bit bored. But no, I'm gonna have to find something else. I don't know. So next week should be good, and next week it should be, yeah, it should be a lot quicker because I don't have anything on now, which is great. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye.